Welcome to 10 Chancery Lane Gallery to meet ANUnaran Jargal Saikan, who is having her debut exhibition and our first Mongolian artist to show at 10 Chancery Lane Gallery. I wanted to just start by giving a little brief history of Mongolia, and most of us know the Genghis Khan. But the Genghis Khan was one of the greatest warriors, and the Mongol Empire was the largest empire in history in 1206. His territory extended from present-day Poland in the west to the Korean Peninsula in the east, from Siberia in the north to the Arab Peninsula and Vietnam in the south, covering approximately 33 million square kilometers. His grandson, the Kublai Khan, ascended the throne that encompassed present-day Mongolia and China. His Yuan dynasty was the first foreign dynasty to rule all of China until it was overthrown by the Ming dynasty in 1368. The Mongol court returned to its native land. However, they fell into the Manchu Qing dynasty. They conquered Inner Mongolia in 1636. Outer Mongolia was then submitted in 1691, and for the next 200 years, Mongolia was ruled by the Qing dynasty until 1911. Mongolia declared its independence in 1911 under the Bogd Khan, the spiritual leader of Mongolia's Tibetan Buddhism, and the husband of the queen in that painting. However, the Chinese government still considered Outer Mongolia as part of it and invaded the country in 1919. In 1921, the People's Revolution won in Mongolia with the help of the Russian Red Army, and thus Mongolia became the second socialist country in the world. After Bogd Khan's death in 1924, the Mongolian People's Republic was proclaimed and the first constitution was adopted. Mongolia was under a Soviet-dominated communist regime for almost 70 years, from 1921 to 1990. In the fall of 1989 and the spring of 1990, the currents of political thought began to emerge in Mongolia, inspired by the glasnost and perestroika in the Soviet Union and the collapse of the communist regimes in Eastern Europe. In March 1990, a democratic revolution that started with hunger strikes to overthrow the government led to the peaceful renouncement of communism. Mongolia is the world's second largest landlocked country and occupies a territory of 1.56 million square kilometers. Mongolia borders Russia in the north and China in the southeast and west. Mongolia is the world's least densely populated country, with a population of 3.1 million people in a vast area of 1.56 million square kilometers. Ulaanbaatar is Mongolia's capital and largest city and home to 45% of the population, which means that 55% are still living a nomadic life. This gives us the context to introduce artist ANUnaran, who was born in 1987, growing up in the newly liberated Mongolia. ANUnaran is a contemporary multidisciplinary artist living and working in Ulaanbaatar. She also exhibits internationally and actually had a show recently in Korea. Her diverse practice and use of materials and performance are deeply connected to nature. Mongolia is a Buddhist country, but they're also very connected to their shamanistic beliefs. So, Anu, you were born in 1987 during the Soviet era. So can you share a little bit about how it was growing up at that time and how, your artistic journey started in a place where really there wasn't much contemporary art happening in Mongolia?
Yeah, thank you for coming. And to be honest, my English is not very well, but I'm trying my best. Yeah. As you mentioned before, I was born in Soviet area, and at the time is not so. The things is not limited. Is just for instance, the people can get 2 pieces of bread in a day. Other things is a paper and a pencil is a limited. My mom sent me in a 2 years old. I just started my drawing. It was the first time drawing about rabbit. And yeah, my mom encouraged me a lot. And so
it should be mentioned also that her mother is a famous actress in Mongolia.
yeah, so when I started drawing, just all day drawing, just feel something deep connection with it.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
So your work, that we have here in our show has many themes, right? One series is called Inner Nature. Another series with the bluish paintings are called CRESCENDO. And there's so much symbolism in that work. So can you tell us the story of these different series of works and a little bit about the symbolism?
Yeah, this exhibition including different period of works, such as you see, the blue painting comes from 2017, which is my at that time I discovered the technique, how I express my feeling through the inverted photos. Everything is just inverted. Like my scars, my wrinkles, or some stamps during the life. A lot of stamps we create. How we living and how we choose. It is just the result of that. And then when I just inverted it, it looks like shining stars. And then realized that we just a small universe. And then I just connected that spots through the threads, which create these beautiful geometrical shapes. Every human is different than others. Just we see our hand lines, just like that. We just create different geometrical shapes in our lives. The blue paintings comes from my personal journey. I'm asking question, who am I? Like that, and then gradually transforming to my loved ones, about my son, about my husband, and then more lately, I wanted to discover what is my root. And then this comes from the historical photos I based. And the background is silk screen. And then I use the mirroring effects on it, and then use the historical photos and sewing, drawing, embroidering like that. The frame is inspired from the Mongolian tanka painting. This work is about nature. We see the outside in the nature, but we have inside also nature. That's why some of the elements like a mirroring. One of is representing outer nature, the other side is representing inner nature, like a meeting point. As you see that the installation, which is based on the Mongolian legend, which is when the new baby born, the father making fox for the new baby, which means like a dream catcher. The circle is symbolizing the Mongolian gear, and then which is presenting like a protection area, like a meditational room. In my lot of works depicting like a deer or antelope in Mongolia, you can see a lot of antelope on the top of the monastery. Man antelope representing in a collective piece. And while the female antelope is emptiness. In the shamanism, also the similar symbolizing. As you see in the Bronze Age, we have found 1,500 stone statue.
They're kind of like stone totems
Yeah.
that are called deer stones.
Yeah, deer stones.
The deer brings you to heaven, to the next life. So that brings us to this deer behind us.
Yeah.
So, and in shamanism, you told me that they believe that the deer and the wolf brings you to life, or what is the representation of the deer and the wolf?
The one book we called Mongolian secret book, like that, how we call it. And when the book started, our root from the wolf and the deer. Like, this is kind of the legend we believe.
Who is in the painting and why did you put him there?
2019. At that time, I prepared my love exhibition. I want to explain my husband's face in that. And the background is a more inspired from the Mongolian landscape when the snowing.
I wanted to ask you also about the embroidery and the different layering of materials in your work.
I really want to mix different type of materials to combine, because it's always interesting that how it can be harmonized, the different type of materials each other. And so it comes from my mother. She is also an actress, but she when I was 5 or 6 years old, she wanted to do something traditional clothes in a casual way. And I helped her. I've learned many sewing technique from her and helped her at the time. And you know, with basically Mongolian women, every woman can sewing, because we don't have sewing machines, so they just making traditional clothes by themselves. So it comes from my mother and my grandmother, and then I really like to sew. And then most of my works just including sewing technique.
Is there a particular message that you hope to communicate through your art?
Actually, it comes from my weariness that we have only 3,500,000 people in Mongolia, but the 50%, almost 50% living in a city. These days, everybody who living in a countryside wanted to move to the city from the country. It's a very hard lifestyle, it's a nomadic lifestyle, especially in the winter time, of course. So they don't want to live in the countryside. So it also kind of we're losing our heritage and culture. I wanted to keep some of our culture through my artwork to the next generation.
Talking about that countryside, is there like a place that has inspired you particularly for your work?
Actually, our forecaster believed that the nature is alive, and nature has an owner, and we called it Naga. My works more about the water Naga, representing as a snake. Also, we have a lot of water problem. It's not only in Mongolia. I really want to express the water spirit in my work, and how it's how we can keep our resource, or how we can realize that, which is a very important issue now. Yeah.
The video that's in the next room, TSAM, is a kind of ritual to pray to the deity of the Naga.
Yes.
So can you tell us about that video and what its meaning is?
We have biggest monastery in Sileng province. We called it Amar Baisakland Monastery. Beginning of 90, we destroyed many monastery and killed many monks at the time. In the
late 1920s
yes.
and 1930s.
Yeah, and then, but the beginning of 1990, recovering again, and now is active. The Great Zan Bazaar, who was a great sculptor and great monk, created Mongolian Buddhism. The monastery do every summer some rituals is about how we can connect to the nature in the right way, how we defeat our bad things, such as anger or desire. The TSAM performance telling a story that how we living and how we can connecting in the, how we can respect our nature.
If somebody hurts nature or does something bad against nature, then the naga is angry. The snake is water spirit is angry, and then causes illness and bad things to happen.
Yes.
So is it an ongoing ritual that people do things for these like traditions?
It's a part of the Buddhism, but we have also some rituals related to the shamanism. But in generally, we respect the nature. If we go up to the mountain, give some food or give something to respect.
As an artist in Mongolia, and really in a relatively young contemporary art scene, right? And you as a female artist, what are your challenges?
In 1990, our modern art started at the time. Now only 20 years has been developing contemporary art in Mongolia. The younger generation really interested in the contemporary art as well. But not so many people understand art in these days. And as a woman artist, also relate to our tradition. We have to early marry, have to grow children as same as some other country. This is also quite challenging me. At the same time to do my artwork individually. The men more highly than women. So it's quite challenging for me, of course.
So you feel in the art scene that like the men are more recognized than than the women artists?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have to show them. What is your vision in upcoming? What are you thinking about in your projects and development?
I really want to do more focus on performing art as well. And also since 3 years ago when we just traveling around Western Mongolia, and then I really respect some mountains we have. And at the time I felt some strange feeling from the mountains, like the some of is the feeling very man energy, but at the same time the some of is very female energy. So I really wanted to do the mountains as a humanized way. In Mongolia, lots of people wanted to buy the mountains painting as a realistic way. And it's very interesting me to do if I'm doing in a humanized way.
So you just mentioned the humanized way of depicting mountain. Can you just elaborate a little bit more about that?
I don't know why, just when we just traveled together in the Western Mongolia, some of the mountains we felt very strange feeling, like reminds me our grand ancestors, or just some of them like more female energy.
In the catalog also I wrote about how that she's very connected to nature and how, you know, it's not apart from us but a part of us, right? And so, and we feel that in her work and her symbolism and, you know, the things that she's trying to express. I feel that very strongly in your work.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that even I was born in city, my grandfather and grandmother lived in the countryside. Nature is not apart us. It's just including in our inner self. So we feel it very close to us. Maybe when you come to Mongolia and stand surrounded by nature, you feel special something.
The land of the eternal blue sky,
Yeah.
as they call it, and it's very true. We had the pleasure to go to Mongolia this last summer, and it's a super magical place.
Yes.
And I can see that there's so many more new challenges happening now because the nomadic lifestyle is becoming more and more difficult. So people are bringing their gers, which we know like a yurt, right? And living there on the outskirts and trying to make a life in the city.
Yeah.
But which brings along, of course, the chimney is a coal burning chimney in the middle, and in the winter it's, you said, -30 in Ulaanbaatar. So that brings a lot of pollution to the city. That's a new challenge, right?
Yeah.
So I can understand that one is really like, influenced to reconnect with nature and to kind of bring that message in your art. And it's an important message.
Yeah, of course. My father's summer house next to the Amarbaisatant monastery. We go every summer and spend in the summertime in there. Mongolian people go to the countryside in every summer. It's also, if they don't go to the countryside in some time, they might be crazy, They need the space, so they must go in the summertime to go countryside for a while. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Anu. I'm so honored to have you in our exhibition. And there's so many details and things to please ask her and, go around and have a look at the artworks. And there's so much complexity in the artworks as well. And they are all, beautiful narrative stories. So, and a lot to discover.
Thank you so much.